Hey, what's up, guys? It's Russo and Jordy with Backdoor Fantasy Sports, and this is our daily show. We're going to be talking about the NFL Monday Night Football game. We've got a matchup between the Eagles and the Seahawks. Unfortunately, it's got some question marks on it. We have Jalen Hurts as a game time decision. We have Geno Smith as a game time decision. So it's a little bit difficult to have like the expected outcomes in place that we would be looking for, but we found 4 picks that we still feel excited about that we're going to be taking tonight. Before we get into those picks though, if you've never tried Prize Picks, use our promo code and they'll double your first deposit up to $100. They're just going to match whatever you put on. So if you do put on the full 100, you're going to get 200 to play with. That's just pretty much how they run the deal. If you want to take advantage of that, just use our promo code. They'll hook you up. And if you're new to our channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. We run several different types of shows. We have our late night show, we have our daily show Monday through Friday, and we have more content that we're working out the details on that we'll be adding to our channel as well. So just make sure you're subscribed. And guys, we also really appreciate everyone giving us a like. You guys have been killing it with that lately. If you don't mind throwing us a like, it just helps us get into the algorithm and get in front of more people as we grow our channel. Really appreciate you guys. All right, we're going to get into a recap from our Saturday slate, or Sunday slate. I'm sorry. We had so much football this weekend. So for the Sunday slate, I took 2 fantasy score props. I had David Njoku for over 10. He crushed this. He went for 26.5. 26.4, so just about 26.5. And Jaden Reed over 12 fantasy points, and he went for 17.2, which was awesome because he's helping me secure the win in round 1 of the playoffs in my Dynasty League as well. So that was a win-win for me. Yeah, those are the 2 I ran with. What about you, Jordy?
Yeah, so I had I took Ezekiel Elliott for over his receiving yards at 18.5. He went over it just barely. He had 21. And then I took Dalton Kincaid for over 4.5 receptions, and he didn't get a single reception. That game just didn't pan out like anyone thought it would. I mean, maybe some people did who were Buffalo fans, but I thought it'd be more of a game. They just ran the ball all over the Cowboys, and he only had 2 targets. So, and I think they only threw the ball on like 24% of the plays. So they didn't throw the ball very much at all because Josh Allen's been pretty lousy with turning the ball over. So I think they just kind of didn't even want to open that door. But
yeah, it seemed like a little bit of a statement game too. They got up, they got up with that lead, and then they just ran it down their throat for like the rest of the game. And you got to be able to win that way, if you're going to win a championship. And so I think it almost looked like they were sort of like saying like, this is a perfect opportunity for us to see what we can do when we just run the ball
for sure
a lot second half. But unfortunate. I kept waiting, man. I was just like, okay, so the Cowboys are down. That offense is about to start firing off any minute now. I'm like, CeeDee Lamb's going to go for like 150 and 2 touchdowns. And, like they just never kicked it into gear. I was so bummed.
I'm happy I had a bye week.
Yeah, you had a bye week.
Performed, so I was like,
I had Cowboys defense leaving me at 0 for most of the game. And then they ended up getting 1. I was just, oh my God. But I took a lot of plays. I was messing around with a lot of those demon plays because I was like, CeeDee Lamb over 100 yards, of course. Like Dak over 300 yards, yeah, I'll take it. Like I made so many slips with those because of the higher multiplier, and they were all trash, unfortunately. But I get impulsive. I like rolling the dice when I'm playing on my personal slips. Sometimes I'll just on a Saturday or Sunday, I'll just be like throwing together slips last minute, that I probably shouldn't be, but. Anyways, all right, so let's get into our picks for today. The board did not get as good as we were hoping. Like I've been loving playing the fantasy score options with the full PPR, and they're still not giving us fantasy score. They probably won't up until like an hour before the game, but we didn't want to wait that long for you guys. But we do have more than we had last night. Last night it was just barren. So to get us started, I'm going to be going with receptions prop. And I'm going to be taking Jackson Smith and Jigba to go over 3.5. He's done this in 3 out of his last 5 games, and he's done this in back-to-back games against good defenses. And I also like his receiving yards, but I like the receptions just a little bit more. But you can kind of pick and choose what you like better if you're taking any JSN. But I'm going to be taking his receptions for more. It seems like they're at that point in the season where they're really trying to get him more involved. And if we take a look here, actually, let's start with the over-under. So this over-under here is a 45-point over-under with the Eagles favored by just 3.5. I believe the game is in Seattle, which is a huge benefit to the Seahawks. It's tough to play out there, it seems, if you're the away team. And JSN over his last 5 games, he's averaging about just under 6.5 targets a game and 4 receptions a game. So if he just hits his average, we'll be cash in on this one. And if we take a look at what the Eagles are allowing to wide receivers, they're giving them a lot of targets. So we're getting like 25, just around 25.5 targets a game, converting that into just over 15.5 receptions per game. So I like him to be able to just grab 4 of these at least. He's a very talented rookie. I'm feeling good about where his future's going. And if we jump over to Daily Grind here, they have this currently as the top play. We have BetMGM at a -135 to go over, Caesars -125, DraftKings -130. So we got some heavy juice from most of the odds makers. And we have Daily Grind's odds to hit percentage is at just under 51% to go over. So this is a low enough line. I like it to go over at 3.5. I don't know if I'd feel the same way at 4 even. Definitely probably not taking it at 4.5. I don't think it'll go that high, but yeah, that's going to be my first play. I'm going to take for more. And then my next play, I'm going to go with a rushing and receiving yards prop, and that's going to be Kenneth Gainwell. He's done this in his last 3 games against pretty good defenses. You got Buffalo, San Francisco, and Dallas. Now with Jalen Hurts potentially missing this game due to an illness, I believe he has. I think that they're going to run the ball a lot, and then if Jalen does play, I don't think that he's going to be running the ball a ton. I know that Jalen's rushing attempts were juiced to the under. I was thinking about that potentially last night, but I'm like, you know what? Like with the amount of like tush push moves that these guys run every single game, I'm not going to take Jalen's under on his rushing attempts. But I do think that that would be the majority of his attempts if he did play, would be a lot of the tush push type stuff, because if he's not feeling great, I don't think he's going to be out there running a ton, especially in Seattle. So I like Kenneth Gainwell to just get the 25.5. I like him to go over this. If we look at what he's been averaging over his last 5, he's averaging about 16.4 rushing yards per game and 11.4 receiving yards per game. Partially that is because he had a couple spike weeks. He had that big game against San Francisco where he went for 42 receiving yards. But this is low enough. I feel comfortable taking the over here. If we look at this matchup, Seattle on average to running backs is allowing 94.5 rushing yards per game and about 38.23 receiving yards per game. So this low line of just 25.5, I think he can hit this. I believe we have this on Daily Grind. They don't have it combined. They do have his rushing yards. We got a little bit of juice. It's a little bit 50-50. I don't think that they had, let me just double check. I think they had his combo. No, they don't. So the only thing they have listed currently, so we don't need to really go off that. But it is a little bit of a 50-50 shot, but I'm just using my own narrative here, and the indicators are pointing me in the direction of like, this is more of like a process of elimination. If I'm going for 4 picks, there's just not a whole lot that I'm that excited about. So I feel comfortable with him here. I think that DeAndre Swift's lines are just a little bit too high for me to want to take them, and this is low enough for him to have the combo there. So these are the two I'm rolling with. What do you got for us, Jordy?
So to get me going here, I've got I'm gonna be taking a receptions prop to get started here. I think even if Hurts doesn't play, Devontae Smith is clearly gonna get some looks. So I'm gonna take him for this 4.5 receptions line. We haven't really seen him play, I don't think, too much without Jalen Hurts, but I like him to go over this regardless of who's throwing him the ball. Just with how open he can get sometimes. He seems like one of those guys who could be quarterback proof. Obviously, there's not much to go behind on that, so I'm not going to sit here and preach that to go over. But, if I think Jalen Hurts is going to play, this is a pretty big game for them, and, I think he'll tough it out. But, Smith has been averaging 5.4 receptions and 7.7 targets over the last 10 games. He's actually gone over this in 7 out of 10 games as well. And the Eagles are passing the ball on 57% of their plays, and he's the second most targeted guy on the team. Him and A.J. Brown literally have the same amount of targets. It's like 97, both of them are sitting at on the year. But this is a pretty good matchup for him. The Seahawks are 26th in receptions allowed, so it's a pretty solid matchup, assuming everyone's healthy and they can get Hurts going in the right direction, and so I like him to go over this. This is a minus 115. Last night it was juiced super hard, but I think just because of the question marks on Hurts, they have no idea if he doesn't play what this offense is going to look like, if they're going to run the ball, if they're going to throw it more. We really don't know, but I'm pretty comfortable with this one regardless. 5 is pretty doable for him. I'm just hoping that Hurts does play. So if he doesn't, I will be posting pivots for sure in our Discord on this one if you guys don't feel comfortable with it after that. But I think Hurts will end up playing. And then for my next one here, I'm going to be taking DK Metcalf for over 59.5 receiving yards. This is, one of those things where the only times he hasn't gone under this is 2 games against San Francisco, and then I think 1 game against the Giants, which was super bizarre. But he put up 134 receiving yards on Dallas, and he put up 94 on the Rams, 50 on Baltimore. He went under against Baltimore too, but he's so solid. He's one of those guys where it's if you just give him an opportunity and throw it up, he's gonna find the ball. He's averaging 8.2 targets a game on 4 receptions. So as long as they can get him involved, which I think they will, they've been trying to make that more of a point in their offense to get this guy going. And, he has monster games whenever he gets over 4 targets. So you can see this one is a minus 115 pretty much. They have it just flatlined across the board. Some people have it juiced to minus 130 / 134. But I really like this play. I think it's, in this game where I don't see too much going on, I think DK is definitely going to get his share tonight, and it's a really, really good matchup for him. The Eagles are 30th in receiving yards allowed to wide receivers, and Darius Slay is probably not going to play. He's pretty banged up with a knee injury, and DK's gone over this in 7 out of 10 games. So I just think these two plays are pretty safe for this board, and that's the 2 I've got, man.
Yeah, man, I actually love that DK play. I just double checked. Slay is out tonight.
Sweet.
And so I think that line seems low to me for DK because he can get that in 1 play, potentially 2 plays. And that also kind of runs with the narrative that I like on JSN, because you can't just throw someone like Slay on him. So they're going to have to put a little bit of extra protection. And I think that could leave JSN open for some of these just short little dump offs.
For sure.
So I think I like the matchup for the Seahawks receivers more than anything today, personally. But yeah, that's the 4 we're running with, guys. Sorry it took us so long to actually get this out. We usually put it out the night before, but there was just nothing on the board, and we didn't want to do that to you guys. So yeah, these are the 4 we're rolling with, and they have that special going, the Merry Pixmas or whatever, for the field goal props. I think it's is it every field goal made, you get like $5 if you have them in your lineup or something like that?
If you take either one of the kickers, every time they make a field goal, you get $5. So
No matter like,
I think it
yeah,
counts for
so
both. Like if you just take one, every time either kicker hits a field goal, you get $5.
really,
I think so.
I have to double check and make sure that's how it works. It seems like it's worth the dice roll.
I know.
It's funny though because both kickers are juiced to the under.
I will say this: if Jalen Hurts is out, definitely take Jake Elliott. I think he'll go over his if Hurts is out.
Yeah, because you got Mariota coming in.
Yeah.
Who knows how that'll pan out?
Yeah. God, let's hope we don't have to watch that.
I know. I hope so too. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us. We hope you have a great Monday night, and we'll be coming at you in just a few with the NBA Daily Show. And yeah, we'll see you in just a little bit.
Good luck, guys.